Älvdans is a Swedish word. It refers to the low-lying fog that rises and hangs in summer or autumn. Directly translated, it means elf dance or fairy dance, for it was once believed that the invisible folk danced along the meadows, and this was their mark on the world, fleeting, eerie, and glowing. Libra, hi, welcome to your winter 2022-2023 shape-shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape-shift looks and feels like over the winter season. I'm Amanda, but I've been going by Andy lately, and I like it, so if you want to call me that, cool. I'm your reader, and I'm joined by the Älvdansen Tarot by Araminta and Timothy Bilek. They used AI technology in this deck to contact the Älvorna, the spirits of the Swedish elves. So there's some very mystical lore and spirits in these cards I'm excited to share with you today and to see how they're going to show your winter shapeshift. So let's pull for Libra for the winter season. Huh. Okay. Libra. Okay, what is this about? Let's look at this together. All right, so we've got the Four of Pentacles, aka Seeds, in this deck. The Two of Pentacles, or Two of Seeds, which is balancing. So we have hoarding, balancing, and then we have the Lady of Cups here. So all the royals in this deck, instead of Page, Knight, King, Queen, we have Son, Daughter, Lord, Lady. And the guidebook in this deck talks about this card as the element of water embodied, nymph-like, and mythic. Okay, the element of water embodied. Being balanced by this heavily earth card, Four of Seeds, and it says hoarding. So, okay, so we've got some sort of, when I think of the element of water, I think of emotional, spiritual, mystical qualities being balanced. And it looks like those qualities in you, Libra, are striving to seek balance with the heavily tangible earth human experience represented by the Four of Seeds, which can be like such a heavy focus on the tangible physical world that it's basically this balance between faith and scarcity, between the seen and the unseen, between what is tangible and what is intangible in your experience. Okay, this is a cool place to start, Libra. I'm wondering if there's this, like, when I'm looking at the balancing card, I'm looking at these different qualities in your experience coming into finding union and integration and like becoming one being. Like, how do you marry the spiritual and the physical in your experience, the magic and the mundane, and the magic in the mundane, maybe? It's like if you go too extreme on either end in these cards, you get either like I'm thinking of an approach to earthly experiences that is devoid of trust in the mystical, trust in the unseen experiences. When you approach the earthly experience devoid of magic, or faith, I guess you could say, it could result in a tendency to hoard, to cling to the things that we know, feel, taste, touch, because there's nothing untasted, untouched, unseen. There's no mystery to balance reality, or our so-called experience, our experience of this so-called reality. And then on the contrast, if you go too heavy into the unseen realm, then suddenly nothing is real, and what is real and what isn't, and how do you come back down to earth and bring it into a space that's grounded, that does have some sort of measurable, tangible effect, practical effect on your life. So maybe Libra, okay, let's just talk about the last few readings for you in the spring, summer, and fall seasons. They've all been sort of building to this, which is interesting. You've been getting a lot of major arcana cards. You've been getting the moon a lot, and you've been getting this like calling, really, Libra, to dive deeper than your earthly realm experience. You've been getting a call to get into your mystic side, to understand the intuitive experience in your body, in your life, and to really just like own and honor how powerful that part of you is, how mystical, how magical, maybe even how psychic you really are, or intuitive. And maybe you've even like developed more of a practice around exploring these qualities within you. And now it's sort of all built to this, is what it feels like. It's all been these theoretical calls to action, or like emotional pulls that you've been feeling towards it. And now this reading is really feeling like it's time for you to put that into practice. How do you balance this exploration? A balancing act, which balancing is your energy, Libra. So how do you embody this in a way that is true to what your sign seeks at its core, which is equality, balance, fairness, equilibrium? Being able to hold two things with equal weight. In this case, your earthly experience with your spiritual experience. And it's like if the earthly experience carries more weight in your life, in this spread, we're getting maybe a tendency to sort of put too much weight on the earthly experience and then like hoard or cling, or like hold onto that so desperately that you deny the spiritual experience. Contrasting, if you place too much weight on the spiritual experience, then your earthly experience sort of goes up in smoke, or like evaporates into the clouds. So there's this balance thing that is wanting to happen here, Libra. You'll know which side of those scales that you fall on, because it'll be obvious. Are your earthly desires seeming to evaporate into thin air? Then you're probably putting too much emphasis on the unseen realm, and you need to dig into the things you can actually actionably do on this earth to make those unseen dreams become real. Or are you barely experiencing the synchronicities, the magic, the mysteries of the unseen because you're too afraid that means you have to let go of some of your earthly control? Then putting more of a earthly, practical application type emphasis into your spiritual world, they will balance one another. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you're too heavily emphasizing, if there's too much spiritual weight in your mind or in your experience, you put too much emphasis on the spiritual and not enough in the material, then add some of the spiritual into the material, you know, like I'm now seeing it as like two vessels, and you're doing chemistry, okay? You're gonna dump some of that spirit into the earth experience to weight it, you know, take the thing that you put heavy emphasis on and dump it into the thing that you don't, and watch the scales balance themselves. Like, how do you apply more of your spiritual ideas into your earthly experience so that you are actually focus on the tangible, actionable, practical things you can do to balance those things out, and vice versa. If you put too much emphasis on the earth and not enough on the spiritual, then you need to dump some of that earth into the spiritual plane, which might be taking a more practical, like everyday ritual type approach to your spirituality. Practical magic, you know? On the bottom of the deck is the Star card. In this deck, it's the 4th card in the Major Arcana instead of the 17th. There's good reason for that. You can click the link in the description to go to the flip through video I did of the Älvdansen tarot if you want to learn more. But I think the Star is here to help you, Libra. So let's look at it. We're going to get into the guidebook a little bit here, the zine, and read to you about this. The spirit in this card, the Star. One day, the girl decided she wanted to be a star. So she climbed up into the tallest tree in the forest and hid herself inside a hollowed out acorn. Then she waited. After a while, she began to feel hungry, so she ate some nuts and berries, and then she fell asleep. When she woke up, she was a star. Okay, this is actually pretty cool given the cards that are coming out for you. Check it out. She decided she wanted to be a star, so she climbed up into the tallest tree. I wasn't seeing this as a tree before, but absolutely, you know? She wanted to be a star, all right? Spiritual energy, spirit, like heavenly, celestial aspirations. And so she climbed up into the highest, tallest tree. So she turned to the most tangible thing in her earthly experience, a tree, and climbed up to the highest point to get as close to the stars as she could. Interesting. It's like she wants the celestial experience, so she turns to the earthly. You know, she doesn't just like evaporate and depersonalize and like astral travel into the stars. She turns to the earth. She climbs to a high point in a tree to reach the stars. That's where, and she hides herself in there. She eats some nuts and berries, again, more like food of the earth. And then she falls asleep, and when she wakes up, she's a star. So there's something here about like the earth. These really practical things we need to do. We climb into a little nest, we eat, we sleep, and boom. So there is something in your earthly human experience that will take you to the stars. Libra, you know, it's like the earth is the key to the heavens in this case. The star is whimsical. She is not human. She is a giver of gifts, fascinated by the lives and decisions of mortals. She believes there's nothing better than to be a star. The star knows things about where consciousness began, but it is like asking a small child. She's easily distracted and engaged in newness. She is an acrobat and loves community. She loves to travel and observe. She believes in you. A spirit for inspiring and attempting something bold. Okay, wow. Such a Sagittarian and like an Aquarian energy, depending on how you look at it, for sure. I'm doing this reading here freshly into Sagittarius season, so it's on my mind. a spirit to inspire you when you want to do something bold. And it seems to me, Libra, like making some sort of earthly celestial leap and integrating the two into your experience is actually pretty bold. And you do need a lot of faith, hope, inspiration to keep that pursuit alive. All right, we're gonna have to get into this a little deeper now, Libra. I'm gonna ask the star card to talk to us a lot more directly about your present experience and how and what the advice is for your shapeshift moving into or moving through the winter season. So if this is resonating with you so far and you want to join me for the rest of this reading, you can click the link in the description below and that will take you to the shifting space. This is an online community devoted to the shift, using the shift readings as a touch point for investigating, sleuthing out the shifts that are here for you, the growth, the evolution, the changes that your soul is desiring to make through the seasons. So in that space, we connect over the shift readings. We link them with the astrology as it unfolds throughout the season so that we can link the astro and the cards and how those shifts might be speaking as you live them in your practical experience. There's a planner, journal, astro tarot guide that you can download and have access to. It's a really cool space. So if that sounds like the kind of support you could use in your winter shapeshift, again, there's a link in the video description below that will take you to the shifting space and you can explore that, see if it's the right thing for you. And if it is, then I will see you for the rest of this reading.